Hello, YouTube peoples. It is I, InsaneLayne, and I am so insanely sorry that this is so incredibly late. But here it is, at long last, Game of Thrones, episode 6 of season 7. Now, I did intentionally not put this review out the week that the episode aired because I wanted to see the season finale first because I thought I would have a lot to say about the two together. So I wanted to keep that a little bit later. So I did wait a week on this one on purpose, but the week on top of that is just time getting away from me and me not getting my shit together. So, also, spoilers, full spoilers for the season finale. Okay, so just to be clear, I will be talking about episode 7, probably at least in reference, during this review. Though this review is primarily for episode 6, Beyond the Wall. But like I said, because I did wait, because I felt that really this episode felt very much like the season finale. So I really wanted to see how that tied in with episode 7, which it does. So there will be probably some mentions. So everybody clear on that. I don't want any bitching in the comments. Full spoilers for episode 6, Beyond the Wall, and episode 7, The Wolf and the Dragon. So let's dive in here. You're gonna see me looking at my notes a lot more often because it's not as fresh as it usually is, and you know my head leaks like a sieve when it comes to memory. Okay, I like the opening shot where they got the camera right on the table, just panning across it, up on Dany. It's really good. I love that table, like from Dragon's Den. I'm so glad that that's like back in the show because it's so awesome, and I missed it. Sorry, but it's there's like cat hair everywhere. Okay. Here's the thing though. When they go to the guys beyond the wall, like, I don't know where they filmed this. I think it must have been, like, primarily on a soundstage because, like, I'm sorry, they're out in the fucking, like, frozen tundra and none of them look cold at all. Okay? Like, there's no frost on their faces. I can't see anybody's breath most of the time. Which is recurring throughout this episode. Like, just watch for who should have cold breath and doesn't. It'll drive you crazy. But they're not like shivering. And nobody's like holding. Like, they don't look cold. They look casual, nonchalant. Okay, it's not quite right. It's just off. Then we have Torment. I think. I apologize in advance if I like confuse people's names. You know, the red-haired guy who loves Brienne. Because he's awesome. And they're talking about Mance Rayder and how he died, which, you know, his is probably one of the most, like, unnecessary deaths in Game of Thrones, and it was tragic. I was sorry to see him go. He was a good character. And he had a bad end, you know? And that's basically what they're talking about, that Mance might have been a fool to not bend the knee, to take it as far as he did, to getting himself killed, just because he wouldn't, you know, let Stannis call himself king, because really, who gives a flying, is the approach. And that, you know, if Mance had bent the knee, a lot more people would be alive right now, and also Jon probably wouldn't be in charge of what he is. So, you know, maybe Jon Snow can learn from this, if indeed he's capable of learning. Still pretty much knows nothing after all these years. Gendry is bitching until told to stop his bitching. He's complaining about the guys that sold him to Melisandre and what she did. And they're like, well, you're alive, so shut the fuck up. They're good. They're very good. Jorah learns how his father died. They kind of compare, like, whose father had the worst end or something. It's, I don't know, that they both came to disgrace. It's a bro moment of, like, you know, our fathers were good men, but they died bad, and, you know, we're what's left. And, Jon tries to do something really noble that I'd forgotten, like, entirely. He tries to return a sword to Jorah and says, you know, this is your family's, it belongs with you. And, Jorah says, no, you know, it used to, but it's not my family anymore, so the sword is yours, and, you know, you pass it to your kids. So that's awesome, you know, it's nice to wrap that up, have the sword be, like, officially Jon's. It's very cool. Plus we get, you know, we get the fan porn of seeing the sword with the cool wolf head, because they want to sell a lot of those between seasons. Let's be honest here. Then we go to Winterfell, where it's actually winter. Okay, there's thick snow piled up on everything. It looks fake as fuck, but but it's there. And Arya and Sansa are they're talking. This is where they're looking down on the courtyard and they're remembering, what used to go on there in the time that Arya found an arrow. And she confronts Sansa about the note. Which Sansa tries to explain, but these two, they've been apart for a long time. They're still sisters, so they get into it. And some of it goes all the way back. Some of it's the old stuff. Some of it's the new stuff. But, really their dynamic with each other has not changed. Time doesn't change that when you're apart. So they're still the bickering sisters that they were. Arya's thinking, Sansa betrayed her family by telling Robb to come and bend the knee like that in the note, and she's not really buying that, you had no choice, and saying, I would have been stronger, I wouldn't have given in to Cersei, and Sansa's like, well, you don't know what I've been through, you couldn't survive what I did. Where are they? Yeah, she basically, Arya basically calls Sansa, pathetic, you just went along with everything, you never fought back with anybody, you just let yourself get drifted along to all these terrible things, which, yeah, I gotta say, Arya has a point here. I'm not saying Sansa was wrong. Well, sometimes, yes, I am, okay? I don't have that much forgiveness for the character. She did spend way, way, way too much time, and maybe this is the show's fault, just being pushed around. She was just drifting on the breeze wherever she got sent one way or the other. She didn't have any self-determination. She didn't even try. She didn't make her own decisions. She just let other people decide what to do with her and hand her around. It was pathetic. But then you have Arya, who ran away. She went off to Braavos, and now she's come back. But, where have you been when I was taking back Winterfell is basically the excuse. And I love that Arya just flat out calls Sansa stupid at one point, which so many people have been wanting to do. And yeah, she was. She was a complete idiot in those early seasons. She didn't really start growing a brain until last season, and it's still of questionable, questionable use. Sometimes she seems to forget. She goes back to season 1 Sansa. But she gets a little bit of redemption in the next episode. It's quite nice. It's a good moment. Yeah, so they go at it, and it basically ends with Sansa's an idiot. Where were you when father was being killed? Why didn't you do anything? And I took back Winterfell while you were becoming a faceless man. And they, they're not getting along so well here. But Arya does call out one important thing, that Sansa is playing politics. If the people of the North see that note, after she's already married Joffrey and married Ramsay Bolton, she'll be a traitor, or Tyrion, she didn't marry Joffrey, sorry. She was supposed to. You know what I mean? But they wouldn't trust her. In the North, honor, loyalty, very big things, so if she's a traitor, then they wouldn't follow her, most likely. And, Arya correctly says, Sansa is preparing for if Jon doesn't come back, or if he dies, in this whole battle for the throne, or however, really. Then she's in charge, and she would have to take over, and she would need the support of the lords to do it. Oh, so sorry. Then we go back beyond the wall, and the Hound and the red hair guy, they're so good together. They have this total bro moment of when the redhead is describing why Brienne is the most smoking hot woman he's ever seen, and he wants to have babies with her. And the Hound's like, Brienne of Tarth, and they're like, you know her? We're like, you know her? It was such a good, it's a good moment. That's the one thing I like about the guys beyond the wall. A lot of their banter is just really, it's a sausage fest. I'm sorry, it is. And it's a lot of guy talk, and it's a lot of stuff they wouldn't say in mixed company, and I don't really care for most of the dialogue for that reason. But these little moments of actual character, of the characters discovering their own hidden connections to each other, is nice. You know, I like that. Then we have John and also raised from the dead guy talking about the meaning of life, and really they are the two probably, you know, most likely to have something to say there, and they're getting close to finding the dead. But they're still, you know, they're only on like stage 2 of the quest, so they got some time. Then we go over to Dragonstone, and Dany is saying why Tyrion is awesome, and why all men are stupid, which I really love. You know, she's just like, yeah, men are stupid. Look at the stupid shit they do to try and impress a woman. Look at the shit they do to be called heroes. You know, like, look at the stupid ass things they do trying to prove they're brave. And, you know, Tyrion, I love that Tyrion just sits there. He doesn't, like, at no point disagrees or tries to stand up for the male of the species. He's just, like, pretty much like, yeah, they do. But he does point out that all men she encounters fall in love with her. And she's like, oh, yeah, right. And he's like, even Jon Snow, and that kind of gets her attention. She's like, you think he likes me? I don't like this side of Dany, the flirty, giggle girl. I don't mind, like, her character having a relationship, obviously. I've liked some of her past relationships, but this one, just the way they're playing it, like, is a little too high school romance. Like, she's waiting for him to pass her a note or something, you know, and they're, like, throwing little looks at each other and giggling behind the lockers. I don't know. They're both grown-ups, you know, act like grown-ups. Where were we? They're talking about how to approach this meeting with Cersei. Cersei has called, kind of an all-hands. She wants reps from all the so-called kings and kingdoms that are currently fighting. But she's going to have it at King's Landing, because that's Cersei. She's going to stay right where she's the safest and where her power is, of course. So they're talking about what are we going to do here. We have to go. We have to see what she says. We have to try and warn her about the dead, even though she's not going to listen, which is why they're trying to catch one, which, what a stupid fucking plan, but more on that later. I'm going to lay into that hard, so, like, strap in. So, we know that Cersei being Cersei, even if it's counter to her own interest, which it is here, she is going to try and pull something. She's not going to have her mortal enemy as the only threat to her power in her presence, in King's Landing, of all places. You know, which she can fortify to hell and back. What am I saying? Yeah, she's not gonna miss the opportunity to try something. I'm a little surprised that, like, when the others sit on their chairs, they don't explode in, like, dragon fire. You know, little dragon fire, like, glass jars of dragon fire under the seat, like a pressure switch, so it just blows up that one person. How cool would that have been? Can we get Hishi on this? Somebody animate that. It would be too funny. Okay, but back to... I was going to say back to reality, and then I realized I'm discussing Game of Thrones. Little less coffee before doing this. Let's see. Yeah, so they discussed, like, what's Cersei gonna do. Tyrion says, like, you know, Cersei's not a peaceful person. She's probably not gonna go for it, but we should be very peaceful in our approach. And Dany's like, hey, this is still war. And Tyrion says, well, you know, the trick here is, yeah, everyone in charge is hated by the people, and his big thing, and he puts way too much exaggeration and importance on this, and at the same time, Daenerys seems to have forgotten some of what she should know from season 3, 4, if I'm remembering my timelines correctly. I'm talking about Meereen. And the original, and when she first frees the slaves and then she has to kill the guy. That's what I'm talking about, what she should have learned there. And I'm not saying he doesn't have a point, but Tyrion is way overstressing the love of the people. There's ways to get that back. The cat is being a cat. So they're not so sure. Dany's she's not fully trusting Tyrion right now, which is smart. Okay, he's screwed up a lot recently. But you know, they're gonna plan some things and keep an eye out. I do love Tyrion. He finally does what Varys told him to do, which is stand up to her. And he basically calls her out on acting like an impulsive, spoiled brat sometimes. To which she responds like a spoiled brat, basically. You know, game theory might have been onto something. But Tyrion just keeps going, and this is a really great scene between the two of them. I love that they got a bit of a walk around. They're standing by the windows now. It's really good. It's framed in a way that makes them look very equal, which is awesome. And Tyrion doesn't back down, ever. Like, he's gonna really call her out and make her address some of her behavior that is not gonna help them going forward, and is the things that, you know, have a relative of hers known as the Mad King for doing these things. So maybe don't do that. And the two of them are really great. And Tyrion also brings up something that the season's been playing with a little. It's gone, I don't know, it's a little out of the blue for me. I think they could have set this up a little better, and it gets very nail on the head hammered over the next 2 episodes, is the point that she can't have children, and yeah, she's queen, and she wants to be queen of all of Westeros, and Essos, supposedly, but what good is being queen if when you die, it just goes back to war, it goes back to everybody fighting because there's no successor. So she brings up, you know, I can't have children, which I had to think for a second, where is that coming from? And then I remembered, but always since season 1, I've never believed that. I've always thought it was bullshit, because of who said it and under what circumstances. I never believed it from season 1. So when it's brought up here again, I'm just like, you know, you'll see. You know, and he says, you know, basically, you're the hope of the world, which she's not the hope of the world, but she is the hope of Tyrion's world. She is the last thing he has to cling on to. If she dies, he's lost. There's nothing left for him. And he wants to see a better world. He wants to see an end to slavery. He wants to see, you know, good things happen, and he believes that she can make good things happen for the people, which is what he wants now, and really what he wants for himself. You know, but he also is, you know, worried about how she's going to get it done, and that's why they're having a bit of a thing. But, you know, she says, you know, don't worry about 10 years in the future. We don't have time for that. Worry about right now. Maybe if you were focusing on right now, Tyrion, we wouldn't have lost Highgarden and Dorne and more than 2/3 of our allies. Like, this is not good. We're in a bad situation because I've been listening to you. Then we go back beyond the wall, and it's action time. And they definitely, I gotta say, I've called out some of the earlier episodes on having costuming issues or looking cheap here and there, and even this episode does as well, which I do have a huge problem with on a show that makes as much money as this one does. Huge problem anytime there's obviously been constraints in the budget, or the seams are showing, or something looks cheaper than it has in the past, or unfinished. There's no excuse for a show that makes this kind of money ever. You know, if they need an extra whatever money to add to the CGI to make a scene really awesome, give them that money, because you're going to get it back, you know, in the first 10 seconds of advertisements before the show even airs. So what I'm saying is, don't be greedy, HBO. So we get to some actually good CGI, which is because they spent the entire season budget pretty much on these last 2 episodes. They have to have, because between this and the season finale is clearly all the money on the screen, all of it, and took a long time, a lot of effort. Looks amazing. One of the first amazing things, an undead bear monster. It must be a dire bear, I'm assuming. Have we seen a live dire bear? Yes, I think, yes. One tried to eat Brienne, and they had that wonderful song of the bear and the maiden fair playing, which is awesome. And I give them a pass on the modern music, because it was just really a perfect song. So yes, we've seen a live dire bear. Now we get to see a dead dire bear. And it's huge, and it's awesome, and it's just like fucking people up, and there's like 3 of them. It's really awesome. They kill a few people. The number of people in this exposition party, like, keeps fucking changing. Because we saw when they left out the gate, there was 7 people. Everybody was like magnificent out there pointing it all out. Yeah, there's like 7 people, and we know who all of them are. They're all recognizable characters. A lot of them are main characters. And I'm so sorry. And you know, Jon Snow is not gonna bite it here, but it's a coin toss of who else is gonna live, because I didn't think you send that many people out, probably only like 2 or 3 are gonna come back. So I was really waiting to see who they were gonna kill. But when they left, and when we see the wide shots of them walking, there's only the core party, the guys that we recognize, and now all of a sudden there's like extras we've never seen who are getting eaten by the dire bears. It's like, where the fuck did these people come from? Who are they? Like, you didn't have this many red shirts with you when you left. And I think they're guilty of that a couple of times in this episode. So, I'll just say I had some fun with that. I had some fun watching those little kind of things. Okay, sorry, I had to take a break there. Back to the episode. We have the cool sword on fire, that always looks fucking awesome. Props to the stunt people, and probably to the actor. I think he probably does do some of that himself. And it's not an easy thing to do, because I'd imagine that's practical. There really is a sword on fire, and it's dangerous. So this is cool, though, because it sets up the recurring thing of the Hound and fire, because the dire bear is on somebody, but the Hound can't go to the guy's rescue because of the fire. And so somebody else comes to the rescue, which is awesome, but the leader of the band of brothers, man, he's hurt pretty fucking bad. He's not long for this world. And yet he is able to, after being bit by a dead bear, as he puts it, ferociously mauled, and then having his wounds burned shut, which is just a surface thing. He's still, like, bleeding internally. He's able to, even though he would be in, like, so much pain he'd pass out, he's able to get up and, like, keeps trudging along through the snow and everything. Like, I'm sorry, but it's up there with the Harley Quinn fall out of the helicopter in Suicide Squad, okay? It's a blatant, obvious, bright red, you did not survive that shit moment. Okay, it's bullshit. And this is one of the things that sucks about this season of Game of Thrones. They've started breaking their own rules, which is one of the reasons people first liked them, is because they did break all of the cliched conventional rules. Anybody could die. Poster Guy, as he was known from season 1, died. Okay, that shocked the fuck out of everybody, which was awesome. No plot armor, no hero shields, no instant recovery from injuries. No, the mountain took an entire season to turn into Zombie Mountain. That was cool. People take time to get over injuries. They don't insta-heal, and they're not invincible or invulnerable. They get hurt. But not this season. We've had like 2 or 3 cases of extreme plot armor. Now we have it is but a flesh wound, doesn't hurt, which is fucking stupid. But yeah, like, this is, you're starting to lose me a little bit, show, but I'm going to avoid using future knowledge, in this next part. I'm going to avoid using knowledge from the next episode, because it wouldn't be fair, and I'm trying very hard to keep this to just be on the wall. Because we go over to, Winterfell, where Sansa's proving how stupid she can still be sometimes, because she's talking to Littlefinger, and just never talk to Littlefinger, okay, just don't. But she wants to know, how did Arya get this note, because, I think she's figured out that Littlefinger probably would have known about it, or maybe knew about it, or that just he has spies everywhere, so how did she get it? And he hand waves her away, doesn't even answer her, because he's got his own agenda, and he's manipulating the hell out of Sansa here. He really is. And it makes me wonder, because he's really pushing her hard against Arya, so I'm like, does he really want Arya dead, or is he just playing games? I have no idea what that was. I don't know. But yeah, Littlefinger, he's getting a little more sinister than usual. He's a little more back to season 1 level creepy there. And, and Sansa's listening to him, so she she comes to the realization, you know, Brienne is, she might be in my way. If I have to move against Arya, take a stand against her, Brienne is sworn to protect both of us. She may side with Arya and be in my way. So, she's gonna have to deal with that, which she will in a minute. So, we go back beyond the wall, and they've finally found some walkers, but there's only a few, so it's probably like a scouting party. They set up a trap, and Jon takes on one of the, if I have the terminology of them correct, the 5 like head ones, those are white walkers. The undead are just the undead, they're just zombies, basically. And only the main guy, you know, with the spikes, he is the Night King. So, that would mean that Jon takes out, he manages to take out one of the White Walkers with, you know, that Valyrian steel that's so awesome. When he does, they find out all the walkers, shatter, except for one. So they, you know, they get a little, they get some script info here, really, because they, reason that killing the walker, causes those that he raised to be destroyed. So I guess all of the White Walkers have the power to raise the dead, not just the Night King, which is cool. But it also is one of their weaknesses. If you can take down the walkers, you can take down the whole army of the dead. So that's going to be a big advantage. But the problem they have now is that, yes, they've captured a walker, but it lets out like a banshee scream to basically call for help. So now the whole army is running right at them, and they got nowhere to go. So they're going to have to make a run for it and try and defend their position. But they send Gendry to run back and tell everyone what's going on. Send word to Daenerys, we need fucking help, we're in trouble. And apparently it's known that Gendry is the fastest among them. There's the gazelle, he doesn't look particularly fast. He does leave the hammer with the gang. I'm thankful to say the hammer seems to have changed quite a bit from episode to episode. It's looks much more real now. It looks like it's had some weight added to it, which is good. We'll get to see it in action much more convincingly than in the last episode. I think it also shrank considerably. I think it was like taller than Gendry in the last episode, and now it's like half his size. I could be remembering entirely wrong. Somebody do it side by side. So then, you know, they Gendry takes off. He's running back, and they gotta make a run for it. And they wind up running across a frozen lake, and they're like, oh fuck! But they have to keep going. Fortunately, because the script says so, there are some rocks just above the ice in the center, which they're able to scramble up on, but now they're trapped. The walkers can't advance right now because their weight is causing the ice to buckle, and they're just dropping into the water, which is useless. So they just form a barrier around the guys and keep them trapped there. And now we'll wait and see for really a fuckload longer than we ever should have. This is like, should I do this now? They are deeply screwed here. And the answer is obvious. Dany's gonna have to come on one of her dragons and save them. I'm not saying I don't want to see that. That is cool as fuck, and I do want to see it. But just, it's so contrived the way they set it up. You could have done better show. Like, this is really forced. And apparently Gendry is not just fast. He's the Flash, okay? He's the Flash. And this is more of the show cheating with time, basically. Because it seemed that they were beyond the wall for a couple of days at least, and he's managed to run back in the snow, exhausted, by himself, in like a couple of minutes, really. Probably a couple of hours in showtime, but my point is he gets back way too fast. He should have taken at least a day, and they have to send a raven all the way from Eastwatch to Dragonstone, which should take a considerable amount of time, and then it would take time for Dany to come back. I'm not saying dragons aren't very fast, I'm sure they are, but there's massive time cheating going on with both Gendry getting back and the Raven getting to Daenerys. Also Daenerys' wardrobe abilities. She magics a new dress, you know, that's perfect for winter right out of nowhere. So, Jon and Co., it's now the next morning. Okay, I'm gonna unload on the stupid right here, because it comes to a head fucking comes to a head here. Part of it at least. Okay, here's the really dumb shit, okay? First off, this entire mission is fucking stupid. It is such a side quest, and it makes no sense. I mean, I get if they were playing it like Daenerys sent Jon Snow away just to get rid of him, or just to keep him busy, but she doesn't really believe him. You know, or she thought he was going to go off and die out there, maybe. I could play that a little bit, but that's not it. That's not it. They're playing this as a serious fucking thing. And yes, there is the whole, you know nothing Jon Snow, and he's the only one who really knows that the walkers are coming and no one believes him. You know, he's the last sane person in Crazy Town a little bit. But that's still just really stupid. Not only just to have the quest to go capture a walker, that's just stupid, and it's just filler, it wastes time, it's unnecessary. You don't need to do that. Again, Dany has dragons. Jon could just tell her, hey, mount up on one of your dragons, head north until you see the army of the undead. You'll see them. You'll be safe up there. Just fly right over. You'll see all you need to see, okay? That's all they had to do. That's all Jon had to do is say, mount up, girl, go see for yourself. It would have taken like a half hour. But no, they have to go in person, on foot, and go beyond the wall and fight the horde. No, it's fucking stupid, okay? There's much better ways you could have done this. Now we have the more stupid of them waking up on the rock in the morning, and only one person has frozen to death, and it's the bleeding internally alcoholic dying guy. So he's dead now. And, you know, the plot armor's failed him. He's died. So that means that, Raised from the Dead guy, he's on his last life here. They got nobody to res them anymore. They've lost their healer. You could literally assign every member in that party like an RPG character status. You really could. So the healer's down. They're in trouble. You know, when your party loses a healer, you're going down unless you can make a break for it, which they got nowhere to go. In the moorland of stupid, not only is there only one person frozen to death, which, sorry, no, they burn the guy's body so that he doesn't, he can't be raised, and then attack them, which, here's my first point, he died sometime during the night. Why haven't, the walkers that are looking down on them, and they are watching and waiting to give the army of the dead the signal to move forward. Once he died, like, I think walkers must be able to sense dead, basically, and find them and raise them. So why can't, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the guy was dead on the rock, so why didn't the walkers during the night, cause him to rise at some point and attack them? He's on their rock with them, and he died. So I need an answer there. I also need an answer as to how does the fire burn to the point of destroying the guy's body when they basically splash some rum on the blanket that he's wrapped in and light it up with the magic sword fire. Just don't get me started on the magic sword fire. But like, they show a little bit of flames, but it takes hours to fully burn a body, and when it's that cold and you're on a frozen rock, it's not going to burn for very long. Once the alcohol is gone, it's going to go out. So it wouldn't have burned the guy satisfactorily enough that he couldn't be raised. And also, even if the walker hadn't, if they don't have death sensibility and didn't know the guy was dead, once they're high enough to watch, once they see the guys light him up, you should try raising him then, at least get a few good attacks in. I mean, you have a zombie on fire in the middle of the guys you want to kill. Go for that. But he doesn't, and also the fire doesn't set any of them on fire. It doesn't melt any of the ice in the surrounding area or the snow, and definitely disappears. Like, the fire and the body just disappear after that. They're no longer to be seen. Sorry, I'm really struggling to breathe and talk right now. So, we've got that. They were talking about, Risen from the Dead guys, like, hey, you know, the walkers, that's who we need to go after. And he's saying to Jon, like, this is, maybe this is what me and you are brought back for. You see anybody else here? We're the only two people that have been brought back, and here we are, and here they are, and maybe this is fate. You know, and maybe he's right. Maybe he has a point. He very well may have a point, that this is part of Jon's destiny, and his, which is awesome. But they're chilling on their rock for now, which also, this leads me to the other part of this stupid. Why didn't the Night King, sorry, I'm gonna keep doing that, by the way. Why didn't the Night King and the Walkers, attack, during the night? All they were waiting for was for a lake that is in the deep north during winter to refreeze. Also, they have ice powers. They shouldn't have had to wait more than 5 minutes to advance. And yet they've been waiting at least a full night. At least probably like 16 to 18 hours. At a minimum. Realistically, the guy should have been trapped on that rock for at least a week before Gendry got back, the Raven got set, and Dany got to them. They should have died of starvation and thirst, is what I'm saying. Yeah, I am. Yes, they should have. They should all be dead. Realistically, they're all dead. But you can't tell me that fucking ice zombie walkers and night kings don't understand how cold works. Or ice, or the properties of things freezing. Because, yeah, they do. So why are they just standing around waiting? And don't tell me because they're patient. Because I don't buy it. Or, here's the other point. They do wait on purpose. Do they know, somehow, that Dany is coming and what she's bringing with her? Is that what the Night King is waiting for? I'm aware of the Bran is the Night King theory. It's got fucking merit. It's got a lot of merit. You know, and it would make sense here. If, yes, the Night King is waiting for those dragons to show up because he needs one to take down the wall. Because how else are they going to do it? Which, yeah, I just went deep into episode 7. I warned you. So, there is that. So maybe that's why the waiting, but still, there's really no reason to wait, because could have just slaughtered them all. Dany would have still come. The Raven's been sent. She's going to arrive at some point. She's gonna come try and rescue them. It's not actually required that they be alive for her to rescue. And it would make much more sense if I'm the Night King to kill them all before she arrives and then have my forces ready to encounter her and get what I want. But that's going like deep into some theory and myth, and you know, realistically from what we see in the show at this point, it's just stupid. It just doesn't make any sense that they would wait around for any reason, but they do. So our merry little band gets to live for now. We go back to Winterfell, where Sansa's been invited to King's Landing to this gathering of royal leaders and etc. But of course she can't go. She has to stay at Winterfell because Jon is gone, and it should be Jon going anyway. But Sansa says, I'll send Brienne in my place. Brienne doesn't like leaving her alone with Littlefinger. Brienne's got the read on Littlefinger. She doesn't like him. Brienne tries and fails to tell Sansa what Littlefinger's really like, but Sansa's not buying it. And I'll say this in regards to episode 7. I believe Sansa here. I believe her performance here, that she is genuinely trusting Littlefinger, that she is trusting him and letting him manipulate her and going with his plans. And you know, and her sending Brienne away is a sign that she is going to make a move on Arya here. It's gonna come down to it. But, you know, indeed Brienne is being sent away, and she'll take Podrick with her. And the two of them going back to King's Landing, like, this is going to be fun. And so where Podrick's from, he knows a lot of people there. Brienne's going to run into people she knows. And the whole gathering just brings a lot of people together that need to be together. But that's the next episode, and we'll get there then. We then go... Where are we now? Okay, yes. Now we have more of where the budget went. With the 3 awesome dragons. They look amazing. They're detailed out. Like, no hint of a seam. They're perfect. They're beautiful. They're magnificent. You know, Tyrion is literally begging Dany to stay. She is getting mounted up. She's got a new winter dress going on. That's very nice. I want to know where she got it and when she had time to have it made for her. It looks awesome, though. It's great. I love the pin. Very awesome. But, Tyrion's doing his usual, you're the future, we have to keep you safe, you can't die, stay here where it's safe. She's like, I've been sitting on the sidelines doing nothing, and I listened to you, and look what happened. I'm not doing nothing. I'm taking my dragons, and I'm going to act like a dragon. She's got to listen to Lady Olenna here. You're a dragon, act like a dragon. That's what Tyrion's not getting yet. She's not like any other ruler. She's not going to be like any other ruler. She's a dragon, she's going to rule like a dragon, and people are just going to have to get used to it, including him. So she takes off on one of the dragons, the other two are behind her. No, seriously, why didn't she put Tyrion on one of the dragons? He's possibly one of the 3 people who can. Because, yeah, more potential, I'm going to say potential spoilers, because this is just theory. But, Tyrion's, if you go really deep in the lore, Tyrion's parentage becomes a little questionable. That there is the question, is he part Targaryen? Making Dany, more spoilers as if we haven't figured it out already. Dany, Jon, and Tyrion, the 3 Targaryens with the 3 dragons. How cool would it be to have, the 3 of them up there, like, flying around? It would be cool. But that's just wishful thinking. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Maybe that's true about Tyrion, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just fan theory. I think somebody told me it's, like, part of the books. I haven't read them. I don't want to know. I'm saving them till after the TV series is done. So she takes off, and it's awesome. We've got Jon and Co stuck on the rocks. And here's the Hound's turn to be stupid, really, really stupid. Because apparently there's rocks on the rock. There's, like, little throwing stones. So he starts throwing them, and he hits one of the walker, and he's like, yeah, I'm a badass. But then he throws another one, and it doesn't quite make it. It just slides right across the ice in that really, oh, fuck kind of way. Yeah, the ice is refrozen hours ago, I'm sure. But it's frozen enough so slowly they've learned the walkers start crossing the lake just a few at a time so that it doesn't buckle, but they're coming. They're coming now. It's on, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. The guys are surrounded. Very much reminiscent of the Battle of the Bastards. Seriously, how many times now is that Jon Snow has been, like, surrounded by the enemy, literally surrounded? And a few other people have been as well at different times. Dany twice as well, I think. But now we have the big, here's the action piece of this, the beginning of the action scene. It's a long, extended action scene, strap in. But it's on. We got walkers, we got fire sword, Valyrian steel's going on, we got a big hammer that looks so much more realistic than it did last episode. It's great. But things are not going well here. Let's face it, there were like 6 guys against hundreds, if not thousands, of the dead. They're surrounded. They've got nowhere to go. And it looks like no redhead guy, Tormund. He's going down. He fights like a motherfucker, though. It's awesome. There's like 5 walkers on him. They're trying to drag him into the water. He's like kicking them. He's like stubborn as fuck. It's awesome. And the Hound saves him at the last second. Jon is trying to somehow escape with the catcher. He yells like, fall back. And fall back to where? You have nowhere to fall back to. You're surrounded on a rock on the middle of a lake. Where the fuck are you telling people to fall back to? Also, this rock suddenly becomes a lot bigger than it is in any of the wide shots or when they're just standing around. It's suddenly way, way bigger. Which is another thing. And they're fighting for so long. I'm talking 5-6 minutes of just them fighting walkers on all sides, and it's crazy, and there's camera cuts, and who's gonna die, and who's still alive, not quite sure. And it's all crazy, and the whole time I'm just going, where are my dragons? Like, come on! This is just, it's taking too long now. You're just needlessly trying this out to get to the point of people thinking, oh no, they're all gonna die, it'll be too late. And then she's gonna come in at the last minute. People hate it when you do this shit, TV. When you're so predictable and trite and cliche, we hate you. And I don't want to hate Game of Thrones for being trite and predictable and cliche. We love you for not being those things. So yeah, the fact that they wait until it's so desperate for Dany to finally arrive, misstep, huge misstep. But when she does arrive, man, it is in grand fashion. Money's on the screen. The dragons look awesome. She looks awesome. Fire just breathing down, just wiping them out. It's fucking cool. My one problem is that nobody shouts to her, "Hey, Daenerys, aim at the guys on the hill. The 5 guys on the horses. Kill them and it's over." You know, I'm just saying, somebody could have tried. You could have told Gendry to put it in the note, maybe. That would have been useful information. So we could have had that. It's awesome. She's flying around, you know, the dragons are burning the fuck out of the walkers. They probably get a couple thousand of them. It's great. The whole big scene is great. Dany comes in, lands. Again, girl gotta pick her landing times better. Landing while the battle's still raging. You don't have a clear path. There's walkers everywhere. They're way too close. Your guys are not together, which is a problem. Because she lands and she's like, you know, everyone on the dragon, get on the dragon. You know, they spike the walker onto it, which is cool. I love that the Hound does it. He just like drives him through one of the spikes, like, stay. It's awesome. But they're scrambling. Everybody get on the dragon, get on the dragon. And of course, you know, as she's on the ground, she's watching them. Her other 2 dragons are flying around, and she's not really watching. And the Night King pulls out one of those ice spears, and no! Ah. They killed my dragon. You killed one of my dragons, HBO. You suck. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. You actually killed one of my dragons. I get that it's a plot necessity, literally. Okay, literally. How else was Night King gonna take down the wall? Of course with a dragon. This has been... Okay, I have no doubt this came from George R. R. Martin himself. It has to. Okay, it is the fire and ice, yes, blah blah blah. Payoff, blah blah blah. Still, fuck you for killing one of my dragons! Fuck you for that! That is not fair. Okay, you suck for that. It's so sad. It looks so beautiful on the screen, but it's so sad. And as if that's not enough, Buddy takes that second spear and he's like, alright, let's go for 2. So they gotta get the fuck out of here. But because, as Dany said, all men are stupid, Jon Snow has been showing off his exceptional ability of being a dumbass because he's run away from the dragon twice, okay? He could have just climbed on the dragon the first time. No, he's got to go kill like 2 walkers that aren't even close enough to be a threat. The dragon can flip his wing and send them flying, okay, dude? You don't need to protect the dragon. The dragon he's okay. He should have just got on the dragon and taken off, but no, he goes back like twice, which is bullshit. You know, and then Jon Snow dies. Okay, he dies. He gets pulled into the frozen lake. He's dead. He's wearing the full cape, the leather, all of his shit, the sword, the boots. He's dead. He is dead. He's being dragged down by 2 walkers in the freezing waters, wearing all that shit. He's dead. Jon Snow is dead, once again. So they take off. They leave him. They have to. But, of course, you know, since we already know he's not going to die here. He's already died once and come back. They're not going to do it again, in back-to-back seasons, pretty much. And also, just, they're not going to do it again with that character, not like this. So, it's so cheap and drama tactic-y, because you know he's going to come back. You know he's going to somehow burst out of that water and be fine. And it's the show doing plot armor again, which they don't do, and hero shields, and they don't do that. And it's really irritating, so you've just completely undercut all the drama and all the tension of the entire battle by doing this lame, cliched, heartstring bullshit. And nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying it at this point. Not after Jon Snow has come back once. Not after Jaime earlier in this season. Nobody's buying it. You know, and really, they gotta realize fans are not gonna stand for this crap. Like, they better step it up for the final season. I hope the extra year they're taking, they're really putting to good use. So, where else? Where are we now? Yeah. So, Jon does indeed pop out of the water as soon as the dragon's gone. Don't even get me started on how much bullshit I've said my piece. He shouldn't be able to climb out the way of the sword, the way of the will, the way should crack as soon as he tries to get out. He's dead is what I'm saying. Then the guy we've seen twice now, guy on the horse swinging the fire, bolero, or whatever it's called, that little bolo, that's my bolo thing. And he comes to the rescue, with his holy fire, excuse me, and he, rescues Jon Snow, and basically Jon's like, you? And the guy's like, no time, get on the horse, and sends him away, where, again, Jon Snow is dead, because he's wearing, clothes that are packed with ice water, and he's in fucking winter. He's dead, is what I'm saying. Again, as if he's not already. He's already died, like, he's dead like 3 times in this episode, really. So then, he does, make it back, somehow. Let's see, yeah. Dany's out on the, she's up in, like, a crow's nest, basically, looking for Jon, supposedly. For my 2 cents, she's looking for her dragon, okay? For me, she's looking for her dragon to come back. She thinks Jon is dead. She's not looking for Jon. But Jon is the one who comes back, and he's somehow still alive. And the horse knew where to go. Somehow this horse knew how to get to Eastwatch from wherever they were. And Jon's alive. The one thing I'll give them credit for is when they're taking off his clothes, that cracking sound, like they're breaking it apart like ice. That was cool. That was well done. That was paying some attention and acknowledging your shit. Doesn't change the fact he should have been dead. But Dany gets to see his scars, and now she's getting more in the picture. You know, he blew her off earlier about, oh, people talk, you know, the whole come back from the dead, people talk. But she knows differently now. And again, he lives even though there's no perceptible fire in this room. He's not even covered all the way. There's like one blanket on him. But he somehow is making miraculous recovery. It's so much fucking bullshit. For a show that, like, has the tagline, winter is coming, they apparently don't know how hypothermia, cold, or ice works. It's just so sad that I just said that. So he, okay, we cut over to, Sansa first, and she's spying on Arya, my. And this is proof that I'm right about her character in this episode. She, is an idiot, because she's spying on Arya. She's trying to get some dirt on her, or trying to figure out how to move against her, and she finds, the faces, of course, and she's like, what are these? And I love that Arya challenges Sansa to the game of faces. I wish Arya had started asking her questions, and when Sansa either lied or didn't answer, she'd smack her with a stick. I wanted to see that of the two of them, and have them, like, you know, really have a fight, a real fight, or have Sansa, like, admit to something, you know? Even an emotional something. It would be great. And I love Arya in this scene. She's so perfect. You know, she tells Sansa just everything. And Sansa doesn't believe her. She thinks she's lying, but, you know, we all know Arya, she just straight talks. She doesn't need to lie. She doesn't need to play games. She'll get hers, her way. And I love she scares the hell out of Sansa by saying, you know, I could take your face. And you really believe that she would. I don't think Arya would. I don't think, even in this episode, even the way they're setting it up, I don't see Arya acting against another Stark, not directly. So it's great. Those two actresses together, they've grown up together now. They've really come along in terms of acting, and it's really good. Maisie Williams is great. You know, Sophie Turner is a good actress, despite what I say about the character and what people think of the character. She is a good actress when you look at the things that she has had to act for the show. Regardless of what you say about the character, the acting that goes into it is good. So I'll say that for her at least. And then we have back to Jon, where he wakes up to Dany because she needs to be near him, apparently. See, this is what I mean. She gets into, like, soppy girl territory, and I hate it, because you're weakening a strong female character by having her do this doting crap. Let's see. Apparently, nearly dying has restored the blood flow to Jon's brain, and he finally bends the knee, metaphorically, because he's laying down, to Daenerys. But, you know, he's realized it doesn't fucking matter what you call yourself if everybody's dead. What is the difference between King of the North and Warden of the North with her ruling from King's Landing? It's not going to change anything. So just do it. So he finally does. But then we come back to the ice field, and it's just no, hells no, they're not. And questions here, and I'm not the only one who said this. A lot of people said this. Where the fuck did they get those chains from? Do not tell me the Army of the Dead just has like 1,000 pounds worth of these giant ass chains. And look at the size of the links on this chain. They're fucking huge. Like, you pull aircraft carriers with this kind of chain. Where did they get it? How did they attach it to the dragon? We're told, we're shown in this episode and told in the next episode, it's said, no spoiler, they can't swim. They can't swim. So how did they get the chains around the dragon? And then, do I think they would have the strength to pull it up from, we don't know how deep this lake is, let's say conservatively. The size of a dragon, the rough size of the lake, it's a pretty deep lake no matter which way I look at it. It has to be pretty deep for what we see to occur. So there's that, and then there's the fact that they managed to pull it up on the ice that now somehow holds the weight of a dead dragon, and the weight of those chains and the walker standing on it. Like, what? Keep in mind, this is the same ice that they were falling through walking yesterday, and now they can all just stand around on it and put, like, a 50,000 pound dragon on it, and it's fine. Okay? Stop fucking with not just physics, but ice physics, okay? You're a show that largely is about ice. You are the ice and fire. Learn how ice works consistently, please. Like, the ice physics in this episode are just such fucking bullshit. They really, really are. I don't know why my camera's doing that. I'm sorry. I'll try to fix it. Like, seriously, stop it. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I think... Okay, yeah, so yeah, fuck the ice physics in this episode. But the dragon is raised and the Night King walks up to it and just... no! No, like, we're in so much trouble now. As soon as you see that eye, you're like, oh, fuck! Like, bad enough you lose one of your dragons, but now it's working against you! Now the other side has a dragon and it's undead. How do you kill an undead dragon? We need some dragon stone spears. That's what they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to. Danny's gonna have to kill one of her dragons herself. You know she's gonna wind up doing it. You know she's gonna have to be the one to kill one of her children. It's gonna have to be it, and it's gonna suck. Or maybe Jon Snow will cut its head off. You know, we'll see. I'm certainly not gonna see for a while. That's like series finale level shit, which I'm sure it will be. Let's check in here. Since there is only one more episode left in the season, let's check in on where we leave ourselves. God, this review is going to be like a fucking hour long. I'm not sorry, there's a lot to do. The next one's going to be just as long. Let's check in on people. I'm going to try and remember as best I can where we saw them prior to this. Miss Sunday. We haven't seen Miss Sunday in at least 2 episodes, I think. And she's hardly had any lines this season. She had that one good scene early on with Grey Worm that was awesome. But then she disappeared, basically. I think she had a little bit of a scene with Tyrion and Varys, but that was it. And she's been nowhere to be seen a lot of the time. Grey Worm and the Unsullied. We haven't seen them since episode 2. No messages, no word. They were left with no supplies and a very long walk back. We see nothing of them. Like, are they struggling? Are they alive? Are they walking back? Where are they? It's dumb. It's really dumb. We didn't see, also in this app, no Cersei, no Jaime, no Sam Gillian the baby, no Euron, no Yara Greyjoy. We haven't seen her in many, many episodes. We don't know where she is, or, who even has her. Is she, Cersei's prisoner? Is she Euron's prisoner? Is she alive? We don't see Varys this episode either. And the women from Dorne that Cersei chained up in the dungeon. And, if anyone's like, well, we know their fate. She poisoned the one, the other one's gonna have to watch her daughter decompose and go insane. Well, no, not good enough, not for those characters. And again, I don't do off-screen deaths. And neither did this show until this season, because Lady Olenna, apparently, there is still, that's another one of the rules of this show. Is the character is not dead unless you see them die. We had the Hound. Everybody's like, oh, he's dead. I never thought he was dead. And why? Horror movie rules. You don't see him die on screen, he's not dead. We haven't seen Lady Olenna die. We haven't seen the Dorne women die. Unless I see it, I'm not going to buy it. Not from a show like Game of Thrones. I think that about covers it. There's a lot in this ep. There's a lot in the next step. We got a lot of characters to check in on before the end of the season. Hopefully we see most of them. This is the second to last episode of the season. Why is this season short, HBO? Like, why? Why did you make this a short season? It doesn't make any sense. And now I gotta wait like 2 fucking years for the next season if the rumors are true. They're saying 2019. Fucking A. You better fix your shit if you're making me wait that long. Until next time, I am InsaneLayne. That was Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 6, Beyond the Wall. Bye-bye.